Please join me in welcoming two-time U.S. Open champion Brooks Koepka. Brooks, how does it feel to be back at a U.S. Open?
Yeah, it feels good. Excited for the week. Playing really, really well. And, yeah, I've always liked U.S. Open, so it'll be a tough test this week.
The course is a little different than other U.S. Open tracks. Can you talk a little bit about your experience here and what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I've only seen the front nine. I haven't seen the back. I'll go see that today. I was told the back nine, the rough's a little bit deeper. Some long par threes, I do know that. But yeah, it'll be interesting just to see the whole golf course, then probably get back to you on that.
We're going to open up to questions right here front.
Hi, Brooks. Timothy Parker, Spectrum Networks, Los Angeles. Obviously, last week's merger was a big deal. Do you feel like there was vindication for you? And also, do you think there will be any animosity still out here between players this week?
I don't think there's really been too much animosity between players in general. I think that's been a lot more constructed from the media side than the player side. But I haven't paid too much attention to it, honestly. I've been trying to prep for this week. I'm just trying to make sure that I come into a major championship. There's 4 weeks a year that I really, really care about, and this is one of them. And want to play well. So I wasn't going to waste any time on any news that happened last week. I saw it. I was sitting at Grove. At the bar there, having breakfast, and I saw it on TV, watched a little bit of the interview, and then that was it. Just went out and practiced.
So no, like, extra vindication, do you feel relieved or vindicated in like that?
It didn't matter to me. Like I said, I'm trying to focus on this week. I think that's why I've been really good at majors, honestly, too. Been able to put it all aside.
Doug on your left.
A couple things, Brooke. Do you recall the last time you felt healthy and stunk in a major? And secondly, would you have been surprised going into this year that you would have a 2-1 to start the year in majors?
Play poorly, sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I've been playing well for a while. It happens every year. I feel like I'm playing pretty good. It's just the results aren't quite there from maybe January, February, March, and then it kind of kicks into gear and everything kind of starts clicking for me. But yeah, it's felt a lot more normal this year than it has maybe the year before, that's for sure. Back to how I normally play.
On the right to Jeff.
Brooks, when you've not been to a course, and so it sounds like you're gonna play 9 each day, and that'll be it. Mm-hmm. Is that an unusual situation for you at a major, or is that situation happened before where you've basically played every hole once?
I've played probably since 2014, 9 holes every day at every major. So it's the same routine, keep it pretty simple, and find out whatever side I think is a little more difficult, I'll play that side again.
And did you do anything before you got here to learn about this place or Ricky or anything like that? No?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can do all the prep you want, but it doesn't. I mean, the wind direction might be different, where you hit your tee ball, pin location. There's so much that goes into it. So you can do all the research you want, but it won't matter at the end of the day.
Stay on the side to Dan.
The PGA Tour guys expressed complete shock at the announcement. Were you guys as surprised on your side?
Yeah, I think there was. It was just kind of because we didn't hear anything about it. That's kind of, I think, the one thing that shocked everybody the most. I think I ran into Ricky and JT after watching the whole thing, and they were asked if they knew, and they said they didn't know either. So they were kind of learning about it. They were on the back of the range, so I probably saw them 30 minutes after, I guess, the news broke.
On your left to Ann.
Hey, Brooks, you've always been able to maintain your focus despite what's going on around you. What's the secret to doing that?
I think I've said it. It's the more chaotic things get, the easier it gets for me. Everything starts to slow down, and I'm able to focus on whatever I need to focus on while everybody else is dealing with distractions, worrying about other things.
Is that the key reason why you think you peak at these majors?
I think there's a few of them, but I think it's definitely one of them. I enjoy the chaos.
On your right to Gary.
Brooks, your first major start was a U.S. Open. First top 5 in a major was a U.S. Open. First win in a major was a U.S. Open. What was it about this event that you found comfort or an embracing feeling about it?
I just love when, I guess, maybe somewhere closer to even par wins. I'm not, if it's going to be a birdie fest where 21 under wins. That's really not the style. I don't really think I've even competed in many golf events over my career where that's happened. But if you look at, I would say maybe majority of my wins, they're all pretty much 10 under and less, which is kind of suited to major championship golf. I feel like I just feel like I can outlast everybody when it comes to having to par things to death or just kind of wearing guys out on the golf course and just mentally beating you, and just know when it's my time to kind of take that opportunity and go with it. And I think being patient's a big thing with that as well, and just knowing when to go after a flag or when to play cautious.
We're going to take one here from the WebEx. If you rejoin the PGA Tour, would you be interested in bringing the team golf concept?
I mean, like I said, I'm not going to go into the future. I don't have a crystal ball with me, but I'm just worried about the U.S. Open. If I can get to number 6 pretty quick, that'd be nice.
Here, second row on the right.
Brooks, compared with when you were on your previous major tear, I just wonder, going into the 3rd major of the year, having been runner-up at Augusta, winning at Oak Hill, do you feel fresher because of the regime that you're on with LIV compared with how it was on the PGA Tour?
I have my own routine. That's it. It's plain and simple. I'm pretty sure I know what it takes to compete in majors. I've won 5 of them and been second 4 times, and just over my track record, how to prepare when you're here, how to prepare when you're home for it, and I've got that, I guess, on lock.
So it's no different playing a LIV schedule going into these majors?
Just golf, man.
Last row here on the left.
We know one thing is there will be some kind of penalties or conditions or whatever. LIV golfers coming back, being reintroduced to the PGA Tour. Are you okay with that? You think that will be okay?
Like I said, I'm not. It's a lot of what if games, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm not going to play the what if game. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
On the right on the rail, 2 in a row.
Hiya, Brooks. I appreciate that we're dealing with a lot of unknowns at the moment, but in Augusta, you touched upon the fact that you may have made a different decision 12 months ago if you'd known how your body was going to heal up. So if this were to happen, would you be one player who would want to play PGA Tour golf again?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, right? You have your favorite events. Like, I've always enjoyed Waste Management. I thought that was a fun event. But I think that kind of goes into the whole thing with, like, the chaos, right? Like, there's a lot of people, a lot of things going on where it's a lot of fun to play, and I've enjoyed it. I've won there twice. That's one place I guess I've missed playing. But yeah, I'd have to go through the whole schedule. I mean, Memphis, I've always played well. There's certain events, right, you've always liked. Even Dunhill, I've always liked Dunhill. I thought that was a fun event. I mean, St. Andrews is my favorite course in the whole world, so I'll take any chance I can get to go play there. So,
aside from the courses, are there things you miss about, seeing pals of yours week in, week out?
Yeah, absolutely, right? We see some of the guys that just live in Jupiter and play the same courses. We see those guys, but I mean, there's certain guys, like, for instance, like John Rahm. He didn't live down there, so I don't get to see him too much and get to hang with him. Scotty, kind of same thing. It's those guys that aren't in Jupiter. You kind of miss seeing and playing against them.
Back right to Alex.
Brooks, at what point in your career did you decide that majors were the thing for you?
I don't know, probably growing up, right? Because at the end of the day, I think one thing that was always kind of harped on me was you knew how many majors Jack, you knew how many Tiger has, you knew how many Arnold Palmer has, you knew how many Gary Player, you knew how many Watson, all these legends, but I never knew how many PGA Tour events or wins they had total. But I could tell you going down the list how many each of them have won. So that was kind of, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? That's what you're judged on. It's major championships. You look at basketball, you judge on how many championships you've won, not how many games you won. Same thing in every sport.
And how gratifying is it to be able to say that you're on 5 and going to 6?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's better than 4. Looking for 5. So that's definitely a lot better. But yeah, like I said, double digits. That's what I'm trying to get to. I think it's. I don't think it's out of the question for me. I think the way I've prepared, the way I've kind of suited my game for these things is it's going to help me. And like I said, I'm only 33, so I've definitely got quite a bit of time. I just got to stay healthy and keep doing what I'm doing.
Straight back to Dylan.
Yeah, Brooks, I mean, it's been a crazy 12 months for all of professional golf, but it seems kind of strikingly crazy for you. When you think about this tournament last year to where you are now, how different do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like a new person, right? Was definitely more confused last year, just trying to figure out why I was feeling the way I was feeling. I felt like I had enough time from surgery to that point, and it's like anything, right? I tried to come back too soon, and then it was like, oh well, if I can walk 18 holes, I can play golf. So just kept playing through it and never let my body heal. And then from there, just created some bad habits. And by the time you actually figure out that you're starting to get healthy, you've got to get rid of those bad habits, and then it's a whole new process. And it just takes a long time. Any athlete that's ever been injured really knows what it's like. It's not fun. It's painful, but you just got to suck it up and deal with it.
If you could go back and do it again, is that the main thing you would change? Just take a little more time off?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I definitely would have taken probably 4 or 5 months off, maybe the whole year off.
A few more right here on your right.
Brooks, from what you saw on the front nine, what'd you make of the risk reward that the course offers, and also how do you see 6, and what's your approach perhaps to that hole?
Well, you can't see 6, so yeah. Yeah, there's a few blind tee shots. I'm not a huge fan of the blind tee shots or even blind shots going in the green. I've never been a real fan of it. I like to see where your golf ball goes. But it's a tough golf course. These bunkers are incredibly soft, which I found quite interesting. So if you're in these fairway bunkers, it's extremely penalizing because you're not gonna get a good lie, number one, and it's not like the ball's gonna funnel to the middle of the bunker. If it goes into the lip, it's gonna stay there. It could plug, or if it gets in the back, the rough around these bunkers is quite difficult too, so it's never going to quite chase in. And you can get some interesting lies. You really got to pay attention to where your misses are. You can be a little aggressive off some of the tee lines, but I don't think on the front that it's too rewarding. You can kind of play it safe, but 6 is going to be interesting. You can see anything from a 7 to possibly a 2, so that's be a fun hole to just stand on and watch. If I was watching, that's where I'd go stand.
Back to Doug on the left.
Appreciate where you stand on the majors. I think we all know it by now, but I'm really curious, just coming from your perspective of how you got here in the first place, of not getting through second stage, challenge tour, working your way up just to get a regular spot in the majors. When did you feel or experience what a big deal they are? Was it just playing in one? Was it contending? Was it actually winning? Can you kind of go back to some of those moments?
I think contending definitely makes you appreciate how big these things are. What was your first contention? It felt like contention to me, but it probably wasn't. It was at Pinehurst. It was at 2014, Keimer won. I mean, he blew us all away, but I mean, I felt like I was in contention. I think we were all playing for second place, really, but like. Yeah, that was kind of the first taste of it. But I mean, I also got a taste of it kind of early on. It was funny. I qualified as an AM for the U.S. Open in 2012, I believe. Yeah, played there. I think I had the lead after 9 holes, and then saw my name on the leaderboard and just gagged it up on the back 9. So it was like Augusta all over again. But yeah, so I understood the magnitude kind of right away of what it was, but it was, I don't think, and then, I mean, I think back to 13, I played the final round of the PGA with Tiger too. So I got introduced a lot early. I felt like that kind of really helped learn different things. Like, I feel like I'm really good at learning from mistakes or what goes on, and like I'll sit back and reflect for like 2-3 days, whether it be right after, give it a few days, and really truthful, honest with myself of why why things happened the way I did. What was I thinking? What was my thought process? How did I execute it how I wanted to? Was it just kind of unlucky? All that goes into it. But I think if you're truly honest with yourself, you'll figure out why. I mean, I can't give away what I was doing, but yeah, it didn't work, clearly. But I'll be honest with you, I told you. I told everybody at PGA I was never going to let it happen again. So I know how to make adjustments and really figure out what goes on, and that's, I think, probably one of my biggest attributes that I think I have.
2 more, front right.
I know you said you haven't played the back 9 yet, but 15 obviously is a pretty unique hole and could be as short as 80 yards depending on the pin location. What do you hope to get out of it when you practice, and what do you want to learn about that hole?
I'll just tell you what I do every hole. I figure out once I get to the fairway, just figure out what's the best spot to look, go in for the green. With certain pin locations, try to figure out which is the best side to miss. There's always one side that's better than the other. And then, honestly, I just stand in the middle of the green whenever I get back, when I get to the green and look back, and it's as clear as day. I just play the hole backwards. I think standing on the middle of the green, looking back towards the tee or the fairway, whatever, depending on what you can see, it makes it very clear how to play the hole, what's the proper way to play it. And then from there, it's just a matter of pin locations. Hey, if this pin location's here, I'm going to do this. This pin location's here, I'm going to switch this up. Maybe it might be a completely different side of the, right rough might be way better than the left rough, but the left rough is good 3 times. Just different things like that.
Straight back to Sean.
Brooks, you used the term chaos to talk about majors, U.S. Opens, and how maybe you like the chaos. What is an example of chaos, or the visual of what chaos looks like to you?
First one that popped in my head was maybe Shinnecock, right? Everybody was bitching, complaining. I just felt like they were also focused on the golf course. They kind of forgot about what was going on, that they were there to play a major championship instead of, okay, the greens are pretty fast, but if you leave yourself with an uphill putt, it's not too bad.
Last question right here.
Brooks, of your 5 major victories, what's been your favorite and why?
This last one, for sure.
Yeah.
They all mean something different, but this last one, for all the stuff I had to deal with, all the pain, the tears, all the stuff that went into it, like I said, there's probably maybe 5-7 people in this whole world that really know what I went through, and that were there kind of every step of the way, and I think they enjoyed it maybe even more than I did.
Thanks.
Brooks, thanks for your time. Good luck this week.
Thanks. See you guys at Travelers next week.